Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another silly car build. My vehicle today is the Caterham R500 Superlight, a car I am rather scared of, in all honesty, for this kind of a challenge. The very lightweight track cars are notoriously twitchy. Certainly they're better on Forza 6 than they were on Forza 5. But I've certainly not driven the Caterham enough to know quite what it's going to do, quite how it's going to behave when I make it very, very powerful, especially when I'm going to be driving it around in the pouring rain. So it could be interesting. Could be very interesting. Anyway, our engine, we're going to be using the 3-litre V8 Racing. I mean, the standard engine is good in this car, but when you have the option for an engine this powerful, naturally that is the one that I'm going to use. Actually lighter than the standard engine as well. This is a very, very light engine. 475 horsepower to begin with. But it's not going to stay with that because we have got the option to put a couple of turbos on it, up to 622 horsepower. Now I think it's the same weight as the engine that came in the car, a similar weight. Anyway, we've got twin turbos. Now, try and keep this thing under control. We do still have the crazy aero parts on this. Of course, we're going to want as much downforce as we can get, which means we've got this interesting sort of, it kind of looks like the top part of a rear wing has just been stuck underneath the front of the Caterham. Either way, we want it, and the rear wing, please be as crazy. I don't think it's quite as crazy as it was, but yeah, I think in Forza 5 it's slightly differently positioned. Either way, we want all the downforce. We really need all of the downforce more than what. Hold on, did that actually make as much PI difference as I thought it did? Yeah, it did. That is a lot of 40 PI. 40 PI from the rear wing alone. That kind of gives you a clue of the scary handling of this vehicle. Maybe we'll have enough downforce to get away with it. We're going to, of course, be wanting some nice race tyres eventually. We'll get them installed. We're not going to have the largest widths, though. Only 195s at the front. That's tiny. That's really tiny. 255s at the rear. They're not very big tyres, though. Yes, the car is very light. The car is incredibly light, one of the lightest vehicles we will have here. Still, though, they are not very big tyres on the car. We will get what few bits. There's not likely to be a massive amount of these bits and pieces around for the vehicle. After all, it is already lightened, already kind of track-ready car to begin with. We can apparently get some upgraded brakes. Interestingly, so second stage adds weight, the third stage takes some weight away. Either way, we're going to be having them and a full-on roll cage. Anything that can possibly help with handling. Okay, that's what we want on this car. PI is likely to be massive on this vehicle. That's not a surprise. It's going to be the control that is the scary kind of aspect of the car. Will I have anywhere near enough control to keep the car pointing in the right direction when it comes to fighting with an incredibly wet and very tricky circuit as well in places? Upgrade the twin turbos to 734 horsepower. The final upgrade puts it to 775. That's a hell of a power to weight ratio in this car. 447 foot-pounds of torque. So, mighty amount of power. Tiny lightweight Caterham. And a really rather demanding, rather wet circuit. What could possibly go wrong? So, of course, to test out this bizarre contraption, we have come to the Virginia International Raceway, where the Caterham will have 5 laps around the Patriot alternate layout in an attempt to go as quick as possible. The current leader is the Bentley Continental GT with a 108.4. Now, this Caterham does have a bit higher PI, I believe, than the Bentley. However, we've got to bear in mind the Bentley was 4-wheel drive and actually a really rather good vehicle. This has got a monstrous amount of power through the rear wheels in a very light and quite potentially twitchy frame. Oh, good God. The brakes are going to be good. That is the one plus point that we have in the Caterham. The brakes are going to be nice. Everywhere else it might be a little bit scary. Also, that rearview mirror is in a really inconvenient place. It's a really bad place, actually, for these turns. Yeah, this is a snappy, twitchy bugger of a car. If I can keep it under control, it's likely to be fast. It's likely to be very fast. Oh, got a fair bit of understeer, actually. But it's the whole, can I keep this under control at all, that is the big question. I'm currently being pretty careful. Oh, nope. I was going to say, being pretty careful with the throttle. You've really got to be. Whereas some cars, you can get away with just kind of gradients of oversteer, just a little bit of oversteer, you might be able to survive. This is kind of either going, everything is going right, or it's snapping and trying to murder you, often with oversteer. So yeah, it's not a nice smooth transition to oversteer, this car, not like I have had with some vehicles. Yes, there is a brutal amount of power, but still, there are there are cars that are much easier to drive than this. Will I be able to get it to full throttle? Not yet. Still waiting. Now, oh, okay, short shift up to 6, still can't go to full throttle coming up this hill. Now I do briefly get to 174 miles an hour. The brakes are not as good as I was expecting. We were a little bit later under braking from those speeds. I think the problem we're having is that the wheels are not really being in contact with the ground enough on the way up there. It's just spinning its whole way up. And yeah, I can't... I wonder if it's getting bounced around up into the air a tiny bit, or certainly unloading the suspension a little bit across the bumps. Now, we have had the bumps cause issues here. The main straight is deceptively bumpy in places. A lot of the larger cars, it doesn't affect. Things like the Chrysler's Rocket that went out last time, then that didn't have a problem. But when your car is as tiny and as lightweight as this, they can cause issues. And I suspect they will cause issues for this Caterham. Okay, we have survived. We had a scare into turn 1, but we haven't kind of been twitched and thrown off the road yet. This puddle is actually of a big concern as well. I kind of want to make sure... Oh, no, wheel on the grass. Somehow we save that. No, don't do anything stupid with the power through here. I really want to make sure both of the wheels hit the puddle at the same time. Otherwise, I can see we're going to get dragged sort of sideways across it very, very easily. Okay, here we go. Can we get any more power down on the road? Oh, not much more than 170. Right, on the brakes nice and early. Okay, we can brake a little bit later than that. Trying to get that stopping point is going to be a bit tricky, I suspect. We do have a little bit of understeer as well through these turns. It's not the greatest handling of the cars. I think I'm also quite scared of going near the throttle. Like things like the Hellcat that went quickly around here. You know, if you put down a little too much throttle, yeah, it started to slide, but it was quite controllable with it. Whereas this, you put down a little bit too much throttle and you start to slide, it snaps and really, really wants to throw you at the scenery. So the limit with this car is such a fine line. An absolute knife edge, I think, is the best way to describe it. It can be quick, you know, that's pretty good going around that turn. But it's always just a split second away from utter disaster. And that's what makes it tricky, trying to drive this car quickly. We are better, though, this time around. A 12.6. Definitely think there is more time in the car. Got to be so careful with the wheel spin on the way up here. It's just wanting to spin the wheels all the way up towards turn 1. Oh, no. We got on the curb. Curb's not good. Curb is bad, or this kind of curb and puddle the other side of curb, and it doesn't take very much to upset it, and now we're all really in a world of trouble. It could be worse, I think perhaps is my takeaway from this. It could be a little bit worse. It hasn't sort of twitched and murdered me completely yet. It's got close to it, but yeah, it is just about clinging on to pointing in a correct direction. Very much a just about, though. Just the minute the car starts going sideways is when you panic. Or with this sort of a vehicle. Maybe fourth gear is good down here. Even hitting the puddle nice and straight is not necessarily enough. It's trying to have the confidence to carry speed through these turns as well. The Caterham does not fill you with confidence. I mean, in the dry, I'm sure it would be quite terrifying as well, but it wouldn't be quite this scary. I can't get to full throttle. It's just not really doable in this car. Okay, we're going even later under braking into turn 1. That was much better. Pretty much spot on getting it slowed down. You've got to be careful with these curbs. Oh, come on, get turned. Even this, a lightweight track car is having understeer issues at that turn. Almost every vehicle has done through there, had real struggles getting the front end turned, carrying any speed. It's a tight circuit, this one. It is a nasty circuit, and yeah, vehicles are having trouble. In fact, a lot of cars are having understeer trouble, much more than oversteer trouble. Not quite what I was expecting. Now we've got to. Problem is, we've got to be so careful trying to get on the power down here, and I've lost some of my time. Can we make up any more through here? I daren't use any more throttle because that back end is really wanting to wiggle around. I'm trying to be braver into this final corner, straighten it up on the exit. Now it's just the run to the line, but I can't really use. Doesn't matter what gear I'm in, they all just want to spin. It is quicker. A better final sector from the Caterham. What a monster this thing is. You just can't use the power. There is just too little grip to make the most of the power, and it is so snappy that if you try and put any of the power down coming out of the corner, all it takes is a fraction too much and it's going to be off. It could be worse. I did fear there could be even less drivability in the car. It didn't snap on me. You do get that split second to try and save it, although often if you use that split second to save it, it is going to kind of ruin your lap a little bit. But yeah, a savage vehicle, this one. It is so twitchy and just not enough grip. I could stick it in 6th coming out of that final corner. I'm pretty sure it still spin its wheels most of the way down towards turn 1, so it's all about throttle control in this. Got to be very, very careful. The lap time is... okay, it's down. It's down the leaderboard. The 111.7 will put it into 8th place. It is... not that far down on the Jaguar D-Type, and that was another car that had some serious traction issues around here. It does beat the Rolls-Royce Dawn. Yes, it's not as quick as the Bentley, the Hellcat, the Honda, and so on and so forth, but I'm perhaps not too massively surprised with the craziness of the handling. Certainly a very different challenge to the last few vehicles that have gone around here. Quite a scary one to boot. Anyway, it is now time, though, to find out just how fast the Caterham will go in a straight line. So that, of course, means heading to Le Mans. Now, the Caterham is not likely to go towards the top of the straight line speed table. It simply doesn't have the power, and, well, look at the car. It was not designed to go very quick in a straight line. It was designed to go around corners. Nevertheless, it is likely to get to its top speed, whatever that may be, very, very quickly, because, well, it is so incredibly, like 2.2 seconds to 60, it reckons. That's if you can stop spinning the wheels the entire time. Right, aero. Let's take off what we have on here and see if we can get any more out of the vehicle. I'm pretty sure we took the aero off and we're going... okay, no, maybe we're not going slower. It is rare, but we can have it happen to cars that the aero is actually required to get the car to a decent top speed because the vehicle is so uncontrollable. This speed graph, I'm not sure I trust the graph particularly well. On this 217.5, there may be a there's not going to be a sweet spot going that way, I don't think. Sometimes the car's geared very much towards speed to start with, and you've got sort of too longer gear ratios to get up to a top speed. I think about 218. Hell, if we can get to 200, if we can get to this sort of speed, I think that's pretty good going for a Caterham. I wasn't expecting it to go that fast, in all honesty. Not when you look at it, it's really not a good shape for cutting through the air efficiently. We are likely, if we can get the wheel spin under control, likely to get it to its 217 mile an hour top speed quickly. The turbo lag is noticeable, I'll tell you that much. The turbo lag is quite evident in this vehicle, as is the understeer. When you're not spinning the rear wheels, there is a mile of understeer. When you are spinning the rear wheels, God help you, because you're probably going to smack something in a very large accident. That is, yeah, it's not massively fun coming out of these first corners. It's so so teetering on the edge of going round. Oh, carefully does it. And it's actually very easy to overcorrect it as well when it just starts sliding. You overcorrect it too much, it finds grip because, well, there is a fair amount of it still around, and then you're going to spin the other way trying to catch it. So lots of things to be worried about. Hell, even in the dry fourth gear is scary. This is not an enjoyable experience accelerating down here. It's terrifying. It is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, we could do with probably some more gear ratios. Now, fortunately, the joys of Forza, I say more gear ratios we do with extending them. Fortunately, the joy of Forza, I can adjust this on the fly. It doesn't think we're going to get more than 217, I guess. That's probably going to be the aero limit. We are very close to buzzing in the limiter, so I'm going to extend it ever so slightly. Yeah, I think the 200, it's got to its top speed incredibly quickly. But then we pretty much hit the aero limit at 200, 216, 217. I think I did see it flick to 217 just before we hit that bump. There we go. 217 miles an hour. It's got there with a large amount of the straight to go, but it's just got nothing else left to give in the Caterham. Now we have to tackle this corner. How are we going to fare across the bumps? Badly. We've had an accident before we even reached the corner. Save it. There we go. It's too light. It's just too light. When you hit those bumps at 217 miles an hour in a car that weighs this little, you're going to have an accident. I think I scraped the wall. I scraped the wall before we ever made the corner. I think this is the first car to crash before the corner. Normally they crash on the corner. This one actually went into scraped the wall before the corner. We didn't have a huge accident because I was already trying to slow it down from having a spin, pretty much. Yeah, it's as bad as you would expect. 270 miles an hour is actually a bit more respectable straight line speed wise than I was kind of expecting from this car. I thought we might be a little bit slower. In all honesty, the speed will put it into 27th place. It is a fraction down on the Plymouth Fury. Let's not forget that Plymouth had nearly 1,000 horsepower in it, so this Caterham does not do too badly for straight line speed. It beats the Alfa Romeo P3, the Mercury Coupe, the Rolls-Royce Dawn, the Fiat 595, but it does lose out on the likes of the Mazda RX-3, Subaru Brat, Mercedes 280 SL. Fairly decent straight line speed-wise. The handling is terrifying. This just so snappy, this vehicle. It is slightly more controllable than on, this Forza 5, for example. There is a little bit more leeway with the car, but it is not very much at all. So very easy to lose things if you aren't fully concentrating with the car, and the bumps at high speeds are going to throw a car so light about. So a little terrifying there, but yeah, an interesting experience, certainly, driving the Caterham. That is it, though, for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.